of silence afterwards where he just kind of sits.
She says, that was a lovely piece.
Thank you, dear. It is very meaningful to me. I have played it many times.
He begins to stand up, pushing the stool back with his, like the back of his knees, and then walking around to the back of it and putting both hands on the back of the stool and just slowly pushing it in. Strahd, as a count and as the ruler of Barovia, uh, doesn't normally do things like this. Normally servants do it for him, whether invisible or people like Rahadan. But he takes care of his organ. He turns around to you and kind of straightens his armor and his finer clothes.
I could not help but notice. Your group did not show this evening.
No, they did not.
So I take it you have decided to spare the Mad Mage, after all.
I mean, yes. Yes, you are correct in that.
A pity. But I understand that you are trying to pick sides. Since this will probably be our last outing together, I will go in with no resentment or grudge or negative feelings towards you. In this endeavor, we will go in as loose allies. Is this okay with you?
I mean, that's fine, but where exactly?
We are going to a very important place. Please, come.
And he begins walking past you.
Uh, she's going to, as he walk past her, she's going to kind of take a quick glance at his face to see the expression.
Awesome. Yeah, roll a perception check.
Nat 20
Nat
or
20.
27.
It is so interesting to look in at Strahd in this instance. The way that he talks about the piece that he just played, aspects of how he held himself in the performance, indicates not only an emotional attachment to the song, but an emotional response to the song. If he were to react to it at all, or if any person will react to it at all, with the amount of intensity that he has, they'd be crying. It would strike them so sorrowfully that the reaction would be visceral. And you pick up on tiny little traces of that. You don't know if it's that he is feeling that or if it's just a response to it from playing it so much throughout his undeath and maybe even life before that. But you pick up on the tiniest fragments of some lingering connection to that music, which is really hard to make out because for the most part, he's completely blank. And that's kind of how Strahd is. He's almost emotionless. And you recognize it, you know. He's a vampire. He's been undead for hundreds of years. Whatever made him human is either not there anymore or barely present. And with that high roll, although it's almost imperceptible, there's a little bit of human in there. Super good roll, Ginji.
Yeah, never would have guessed. So, I guess keeping the same amount of distance with she did with Rahad, and she'll kind of keep like 10 feet, either to the side or to the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he walks straight past you, up to the door, and snaps his fingers, and they open slowly. Rahad's not there anymore. He's gone off somewhere. He begins leading you down to this staircase right here, which I believe you've gone down before.
Yeah, I think I did.
As you do so, he walks down to the next layer, which I will show you that as well, so that you remember it, which I think is this one. Yes, it is. He walks you down to this layer of the map right here.
Oh, okay, we're over there.
Which... Where's this token? You don't have to have a token for this, I'll just show you where he is. Where you come out. You basically pop out right at this staircase right here, and he takes you all the way around down to the next floor. The next floor that you come to is one that you remember. As you come to the base of the staircase, there is a heavy iron door, which opens as he walks towards it. And as you enter into the room, you are greeted with the sight of a brazier. You may remember this from your previous time in Castle Ravenloft when you were rescuing Irina. But you spent a small fraction of time in this room trying to figure out exactly what the brazier was and what it would do. Before you all got weirded out by the statues, I think, on either side. I'll put Strahd right here. This, by the way, was also where you got chased by the other large vampire thing. The pale skin thing.
Yep.
While you're in here, above the brazier, which has a flame in it, it's a tall white flame, there is a wood-framed hourglass, which is tall and wide as a dwarf, that hangs suspended from the ceiling by iron chains, and the sand is stuck in the upper portion of the hourglass. Around the brazier itself, there are carved 7 cup-shaped indentations that are spaced pretty evenly around the circumference, and within each indentation is a spherical stone twice the diameter of a human eyeball and made of colored crystal. No two stones are the same color. You have a passive perception of 17, right?
Double checking. I should. Yes.
So you do see, in faint glowing script at the base of the hourglass. I don't remember if you picked up on this last time. I don't think you did.
We knew something was written, but I don't think we had time to read it.
So there's a glowing script on the base of the hourglass, and it is in common. You go ahead and take a look up, and you read it. And it says, "Cast a stone into the fire. Violet leads to the mountain spire. Orange to the castle's peak. Red if law is what you seek. Green to where the coffins hide. Indigo to the master's bride. Blue to ancient magic's womb. Yellow to the master's tomb." Strahd walks around to the brazier and picks out the blue stone.
You wouldn't happen to have like a paper of that I can write those down or somewhere.
That depends on what Tia is doing. Is Tia
Uh,
attempting to memorize?
like she's going to attempt to memorize the script, but if she sees Strahd's walking towards one of the stones, she's just going to look down at him and see which one he's grabbing at least.
Okay. Make an intelligence check with disadvantage.
Okie dokes.
Because you're just reading up quick and then paying attention to what he's doing.
Where's my intelligence? I think I just clicked this right. 13.
13. You don't get that much of it. You just remember that each stone corresponds to probably a location. He picks up the blue stone, kind of looks it over in his hand.
Where we are going is a difficult place. It is filled with treacherous monsters, horrifying traps, but knowledge. And knowledge is what I seek. We are going to go there for two reasons. The first, which is why you are accompanying me, is to look for information on how to either lift or expand the mists that settle around the borders of Barovia. You are aware of my motives, and so this you should expect. The second, and part of the reason that I brought you here, is because if you are looking for these cards of yours, and you have not yet found them, I believe this will be where they are. Now I bring you on this journey because this temple is a danger, and you are accustomed to finding and disabling traps. But we must still be careful. We will not delve too far into the temple. We will just go and try and find what we seek. And if it gets too difficult, I imagine we will return. Now, we are going to be allies for this trip, so I expect you to watch my back as I will yours.
I'll try my best.
And after tonight, we may go our separate ways, until I find that the opportunity for me to pounce is at bay.
So I'm assuming you don't want help lifting the mist anymore. Just gonna ask that real quick.
Unfortunately, Tia, you have all proven yourselves unworthy of my throne.
Well, that's fair.
But let us not mar this interesting opportunity with such strange feelings of disappointment. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
And he holds the stone in his hand and holds it up to his mouth, and you see the mouth moving slightly before it stops, and he focuses, and he chucks it in the brazier. The brazier's flame then changes from white to blue, and as it does so, the hourglass above the brazier, inside of it, the sand begins falling through. He looks to you and holds out a hand.
She'll take the hand? Questioningly?
As you hold the hand, he looks down at you and then throws you into the fire.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm assuming you don't resist.
Uh, Strahd's, yeah, I mean, she's gonna go for it. Until she feels pain, she's going to just trust him just for this instance.
So he grabs onto your essentially paw and chucks you in, and you see the blue beginning to get brighter and brighter and encompass more and more of your vision until you impact into the flame. It doesn't burn. It just wreaths all around you. And as it does, you feel it not in a heat kind of way, but in a fizzly kind of way, I suppose. Just begin to tear away at the atoms that make up the outside of your body until it goes further and further and further in. And your self just kind of shifts until it's pieced back together somewhere else. And you step through onto cold stone floor. You have dark vision, right?
Yes.
Amazing. Well then. Let's drag you over to the new map. It's but a moment until Strahd also steps through right behind you. But until then, we'll put you right down there. You are a little smaller than that, but because of the way the tokens work, tokens are stupid in Roll20, and that's just the way that it is.
It is all blocked for me, by the way.
It will be... oh, you know what? I think dynamic lighting is still open, so let me just double shift that, because I don't want anyone's computer breaking. Which dynamic lighting always does. Okay, so let's start right here.
Oop,
And
there we
we'll go to there. There's a little more to this room, but we'll go as we go. There are these three parts right here, and then behind you is this staircase, which I'll just kind of loosely go over, and then these are all like, you know, little alcoves. So, in this room, although it is impossible to make out colour, since there is no light in here at all, and dark vision doesn't allow for colour, you emerge into a room with walls that are sculpted. I can't make out the colour, but they are sculpted to look like tentacles that entwine around marble bas-reliefs of kings, queens, pharaohs, and sultans, attended by myriad slaves. The three walls around you contain alcoves, and standing in each alcove is a tall, rough block of some kind of material. Along the one wall there are two wide cracks, which spill a little bit of rubble and also shattered pieces of whatever those blocks are into that corner of the room. And then behind you there is a beautiful, some kind of stone staircase with a railing that hugs the north wall as it spirals gently up a 30-foot wide shaft. Lying in the middle of the room are 6 rotting wooden crates. Strahd steps through behind you and kind of looks around for a second and takes a big sniff and
Very good.
Kind of turns and looks over to the alcove on your right. And just kind of stares for a second.
On my right, or
On your right. So you're looking down right now.
oh, okay, gotcha.
So he's looking over the one on the right, which is the one on the left of the map.
Right. She's going to just, I guess, look in the same direction, see if he sees something.
Yeah, roll a perception check for me.
Okey dokes. 22.
22. You look over at what he's looking at, and it's a sarcophagus. Those like thick blocks. They are shaped to be sarcophagi, each and every one of them, and he's kind of looking over at that one specifically more than the others.
Do you think there might be something in that one? It's caught your attention, I see.
There is. There is something in each and every one of those. They are very special, powerful, and dark powers.
Right. So, to help find what you're looking for, are you looking for like some type of book? Are you looking for an item?
Well, I believe that this temple will hold the answer to that. I imagine, since the mists are made of some kind of magic, that the item, the magic that I seek to remove the mists, will be written in a book. The spell book will be spoken of in words of some creature that lurks here. Or maybe it isn't an item. It is difficult to say at this point. But we will find it if it is here.
Right. She wants to carefully walk over to this little opening here and see what she sees inside.
Yeah, you begin to walk, and as you kind of press around him, he says,
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Is it the crates?
What gave it away?
Well, I mean, they're rotting, sure, but we can't just sit in this room.
Do they remind you of anything?
Oh. Yeah, they do.
So to the staircase we will go.
Right.
and he turns backwards and begins walking up the staircase.
All right. Well, she'll follow.
Yeah, he begins walking up, and he kind of, without looking at you, says,
Shouldn't you be looking for traps?
I am, but you instantly just walked off so quickly. So she's going to go ahead of front of him by like 5 feet and start doing a perception check while on the stairs.
yeah, go ahead and roll a perception check.
15.
15. Yeah, as you begin walking up the stairs, you don't see any traps as you go. You do... Let me see here. Is this the right area? Yes, it is. Huh, I wonder why that isn't in the book, but it is in Roll20. Whatever. You do kind of hear gentle murmurs from the room above you. You get that it's open, whatever the room is. It's almost like the staircase falls down, but there's like a railing at the top of where the stairs are, and instead of there being like a wall which the staircase hugs, it's just an open space that the staircase comes around and then up, like a balcony.
Okay.
You get that there are gentle murmurs of something up there, and also there is light.
Does it? I guess you can kind of like tell because it's a room. Is there a door? Is the door closed?
From where you are, it doesn't look like there's a door.
Okay. And does the light seem to be candlelight? Because you'll seem like the shadows on the ground flickering and whatnot, or does it seem to be constant
Yeah.
like a moonlight?
Best you can tell, it does appear to be candlelight.
Okay. So you sent us here. Mind tell me exactly what this place is and the fact that someone might be in a room with a candle?
So there are people up there. Interesting. This place, I believe. No, I believe that to be secret for now. This place is called the Amber Temple.
Does that ring any bells to Tia? Can she do like a recall knowledge of some sort?
Yeah, roll a history check.
All right. Nat 20 for 21.
21. Yeah, Amber Temple. You haven't heard much about the Amber Temple. You've heard somewhere. You don't know if it was from a Vistani in eavesdropped conversations, or if it was between Rahadan and Strahd, or if you heard about it in a book somewhere, or what. The Amber Temple is the oldest source of magic, arcane knowledge, and history of and in Barovia. Now,
Mordenkainen didn't tell us about this?
Mordenkainen did not tell you about this. If this,
Interesting.
with a natural 20, yeah, Mordenkainen didn't mention this, which leads you to think maybe he didn't know about it,
Hmm.
or maybe he just didn't get to it before his madness wore off. It's an important place. It's dangerous, whatever. We get that, but if your card was anywhere, it'd probably be here.
Okay. She's going to creep up the stairs and kind of just get to, I guess, around right here and see if she still hears the murmuring coming from that room.
Roll a stealth check for me.
Jokes. 13.
13. Okay. So you slowly begin to creep up the stairs on all fours. You feel fairly confident in your creeping abilities. And you kind of slink up there. I'll keep your other perception check for this. You do still hear the murmurings up at the top.
Does it sound common or does it sound like almost babbling of sorts?
It's more like a babbling.
Okay.
And you do make out two voices.
Oh, great.
I'm going to put Strahd right here behind you.
Mhm. And this is where the staircase ends, right? Like this, it's just this room up here.
Best you can tell, yeah.
Okay. I mean, she's going to step a bit closer to the door, about like another, I guess, 10-ish feet right there.
Mm-hmm.
There's one standing in front of it, and she wants to see if the babbling keeps going or stops.
Well, so there's no door. It's just the top of the staircase
Right.
right there.
Right.
And from here you get a clear view of the whole area, which is nice. Battling does continue, but they don't appear to notice you at all. You look in, and you make out a stone library that has 20-foot high walls, 30-foot high vaulted ceiling. Covering the ceiling, there is a fresco that depicts angels being set ablaze in a hell. A black marble railing that you can now make out because of the light encloses the gold marble staircase that spirals gently down the shaft that you just came from. Against the grey walls, there stand 6 10-foot-tall black marble bookcases, and on their shelves are hundreds of well-preserved tomes. Embroidered rugs, chairs, lit candelabras fill the southern half of the room. You do also see 2 babbling humanoids, each kind of holding large great axes, that do... They're almost conversing with each other. Part of it is just them kind of doing the same thing. Similar things that the Mad Mage was doing when you found him.
Okay. She's going to try this out because she's curious. She's going to turn back to Strahd. And without saying anything, she's kind of going to use her knowledge of thieves' cant and, different hand signs and movements to kind of like signalize, there's 2 people in there and it's a library. And hopefully he understands. If he doesn't, that's, understandable.
You know what? Let's take a look. I wonder if Strahd knows thieves' cant.
It's worth a shot. She's been curious.
So Strahd, it's not a language, is the thing about thieves' cant. It's kind of like a... It's not spoken, anyway, is what it is. So Strahd doesn't necessarily understand thieves' cant. I'll roll him an intelligence check to see if he can make out the general gist of what you're saying. You rolled a natural 20. Good job, Strahd.
Oh.
Yeah, so he kind of just stares back to you, unblinking, and just kind of nods in a beckoning of understanding.
She's kind of going to look back at him, saying, asking, should we go in? Except, we do a hand palm and you do like the fingers walking across, and then her kind of looking back at him.
Yeah, he just kind of nods again.
All right. So she is going to attempt to stealth around a corner in this hallway. Do I need to pick up a stealth roll or?
We'll keep the 13 if you want.
Alright.
So you go ahead and slink around.
Yeah, she's going to attempt to move to this corner right here.
Uh-huh. So you go ahead and just kind of gingerly weave around the railing there. They don't seem to notice you at this point in time. And when you turn around to see if Strahd is coming up, you see a bat now crest up to the ceiling and just get up there and then hang and then turn, and you watch as the head cocks and looks back to you.
I don't want to fight barbarians, dude. She's going to stare at the barbarians for like another 30 seconds to make sure, they're not swiveling their heads around and notice her before she starts looking.
Yeah. You take a moment to just sit there and stare, and they're walking around. They're not limited to just that one space. So this one actually does come up around to almost like right there. This one goes and takes a seat in the chair and then kind of sits and gets back up again. They're moving, so if you stand there long enough, they're gonna bump into you. You just have to, be careful. But they're not noticing you.
Okay. She is going to. How much? I need to check my movement. Speed of movement. Sorry. Okay. She's going to move 5. Oh, I forgot because we're moving diagonal. It takes that extra movement. And I'm also moving through his space. Huh. Oh, that's a predicament. She's going to draw her bow and point it directly at the barbarian, look back at Strahd, and give a slight nod and see what his response is.
Okay. So, you hold it there.
Yes.
And let's have a look and let's see what Strahd's going to do. I'm looking at Strahd's crap. Strahd's got some good crap, dude. Yeah, okay. So, this is what we're going to do. Strahd kind of drops the form of the bat, and you watch as he extends and grows back into his regular humanoid form. This time, hair flowing down towards the ground instead of back along his neck. And he walks across the gilded ceiling until he's standing on top of the one on the left.
Alright.
And then he drops. What are you doing?
She's firing a arrow at the guy that's in front of her.
Okay, so both of you here have surprise rounds on your targets. Which basically just means you're going to attack with advantage. So, go ahead and roll your attack.
Jokes. 25.
25 most definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. 14 sneak, 7 piercing.
14 sneak, 7 piercing. For 21 points of damage. Great. Good roll. This guy takes an arrow. Where do you shoot him at?
She's just going to shoot him at the arm to, like, kind of stagger him a bit. Not so he doesn't ready the axe as quickly as he wants to.
Yeah, you go ahead and let loose the bolt. And the arrow sinks into underneath of the armpit and kind of like separates part of the tendon that's connecting the arm to the chest. And you watch as blood begins to pour out of it, and he kind of looks around and takes a moment to realize where you are before staring back ragefully. That's your held action to do that. Strahd's go. Strahd drops. And his action is going to be the multi-attack, which he does. So it's... Man, Strahd is super weird. Yeah, he's just going to do 2 unarmed strikes, basically. I'll roll them both. The first one hits. The second one's not with advantage because of the way that it works, but it still hits. So, hold on, guys. I gotta do quick maths here. 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 4 plus 4 is what? 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12.
Yeah.
2 plus 2 is 4. So remember that. 12 plus 1, 2, 5, 9. So 12 plus 9 plus... Ooh, that's better. 17.
17, that's 38.
It's 38 points of damage. As Strahd sneaks down on the guy and kind of rakes both of his elongated fingernails into the back of his neck and down the torso. As you watch his blood sprays out of now 8 claw marks that are struck in the back of this human that coats Strahd's face, armor, and clothes, and he just licks his lips and grins. Go ahead and roll initiative for me, Tia.
Okie dokes.
This probably won't take that long.
9. That's not good.
9. Well, I rolled like terrible for both of my people, so don't worry about that. You got 9 total. Okay. So, Strahd goes first. Because of the dex. Yeah, it'll be Strahd, then you, then the Berserkers. Strahd is going to multi-attack again. Except... No, he's gonna slash twice again is what he's gonna do. Because that's a little more damaging. Oh yeah, both hit. Super bad. So 4 plus 4 is 8, and 7 plus 4 is 11. So add those two together, you get 19. Right, I'm counting on you for good maths, Gage.
Hey, you're counting on the wrong person.
And then, okay, 19 plus 2 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5. So that's 7 plus 5 is 12. So 19 plus 12 for 31.
Yeah.
Unless I'm wrong, in which case correct me.
19 plus 12, I can check.
No, it's 31, and then
yes,
plus
31.
Another 13 points.
That's 44.
This guy just dies. Straight up. He is reduced to a pile of mush in the ground. And Strahd kind of turns back to you and cracks his neck a little bit. Okay. And that's his turn.
If it's my go, I'm checking my stuff. Okay. That sucks. I don't want to do that. Alright, so first she is going to fire the short bow again.
Sure, this is a straight roll.
Yep, straight without sneak. Whew, for a 9.
A 9, unfortunately, does not hit.
Alright, she is going to use her cunning action to disengage. So 5. Do I want to put cat's claws on here? That bonus action? Or feline agility? Let's see. No, it's not. So I'm going to double my speed with the disengage. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Are you disengaging or dashing?
Disengaging. I'm using my feline agility to double my speed.
Got you.
Let's see. So that's 30. And she'll move right there.
Okay. So you just knock an arrow and let loose. You hear it clatter against the stone, and you just dodge underneath of the candelabra, and just slink around back behind Strahd. As you do so, you look back to him, who is still facing the berserker, and you can see the guy that he just decimated, just twitching on the ground, like a chicken with its head cut off. It's just he's staring back at you, but there's no anything back there. It's now the berserker's go. The berserker sees two things. One of them just attacked it, so it's gonna run towards you.
Yep.
Because you attacked it, so it's gonna move its full 30 feet to get right up to you, and it's gonna recklessly swing on you.
All right.
For a 17.
That does hit.
A D12? Oh my god. I never see D12s. I don't know what my D12s are. Piss. You take 9 points of slashing damage.
We're going to uncanny dodge to half that.
So you take 4 points of slashing damage. As the great axe tries to cleave down into your shoulder, but you uncanny dodge, and it just instead comes about a quarter of an inch into your sternum and rakes down through to your midsection. But you spin out of the way, reducing most of the damage.
Nice.
That's going to be his turn. Following that, it's now Strahd's go. Strahd is... gonna let you take this one.
Of course he is.
I think. Yeah. He sure is. He just turns back behind him and looks at the guy on the floor. Just tuts under his breath. And then begins walking off to go and look at the bookcases.
Alright, well, on that note, if it's back to Tia's turn, she's going to use her bonus action Insightful Fighting. So I make an insight check against your deception check, and if I beat it, I get a... is it advantage? Yeah, I get advantage.
Advantage, you sure do. Ooh, bad modifier, decent roll.
Oh, I rolled horribly.
You unfortunately do not beat this berserker.
Alright, well, she's going to whip out her dagger and attack with that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your attack.
25.
25 most definitely hits.
For 5 piercing.
For 5 points of piercing damage. Yeah, as a note here, since he recklessly attacked you, your attack is at advantage. As you slash in the back of the knee, he kind of goes down for a second before picking himself back up. There's part of him is less phased by your attack. You're not sure if it's the madness or something else, but he's still chugging along. Anything else on your turn?
No, because I already used my bonus action.
Okay.
I gotta wait for feline agility to come back.
He's gonna attack you again. Not the best. It's gonna be a 13 to hit.
That misses.
As he brings the great axe around and tries to swing it down on you, you dodge out of the way as it clanks against the stonework, sending a small spark spattering off in your direction. But no impact means no damage.
Okay.
That's Strahd's go. Strahd's going to keep perusing. And now it's your turn.
Alright, she's going to re-grab her short bow and then once again going to use her disengage plus the feline agility because she didn't move on that last turn. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So she essentially went in like a straight line down and over to the right.
Sure. Got you.
Alright. And then she is going to fire that short bow at the berserker.
Yeah, go for it.
Nat 20 for 27.
Nat 20 hits. Hell yeah.
And for 10 piercing.
For 10 piercing. Awesome.
It's pretty low, and that will do it for Tia.
Only 10. What a shame. Yeah, he's going to turn around. You didn't hide, so he knows where you are. And he's going to come straight towards you and try and hit you again.
That movement. Yep.
He's got 30 feet of movement, and he just goes. That one's cocked. It doesn't matter, it doesn't hit. That's 9 to hit.
Yeah, misses.
Yeah, this time he swings wide and you duck under the way, and he actually impacts the stone or the marble bookcase right next to you, and you watch as it kind of cracks against the back wall and almost tips over. A couple of tomes fall out, and you hear Strahd turn and go, "Come on."
You know, it would be a lot quicker if you actually helped.
I thought you had this.
These guys are a lot, bigger, and, people usually don't get up this close. So, it's back to her turn. She is going to... She's going to give another shot. She's, dropped her short bow again. She's going to Insightful Fighting. I believe I can do that more than once. Let me double check. Yeah.
I think
She's
you
going
can.
Insightful Fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Wisdom, Insight against your Charisma Deception.
Okay, go for it.
Dear God, that one.
I rolled nat 20, baby. So
God. Yeah, no,
you're
not
not.
happening.
Yeah, you're not inciting this berserker very well. But it doesn't
Alright.
matter because you have an advantage on the attack roll anyway. Because he's
Yeah,
recklessly attacking you. So
he is. Alright, well, attack with the dagger. For an 18.
18 hits.
For 8 piercing.
8 piercing damage. Yeah, he's beginning to take some hits. He's not the hardest hitter, but he's a beefy boy. And he's taking him.
Let's see my bonus. If I move, I'm just gonna get hit. Yeah, that'll do it.
Okay. So, following your turn, because you are after Strahd in the initiative, it's now his go. He's going to swing on you.
Yep.
That is a hit. That's an 18 to hit.
That does.
Okay. You take not a lot of damage. 8 points of slashing damage.
4 points, uncanny.
Down to 4. As he swings down, kind of actually scraping along the side of your leg, you are weaving around him to the point where you're controlling the fight, and you're not doing terribly, but he's still getting those hits in on you, and it still stings every time he hits you. But that's his turn. Strahd is going to keep perusing and saying,
If you would hurry up, we have business to attend to.
She's going to drop her dagger and pull out the short sword. And insightful fighting once more.
now you can do this, but you have advantage anyway.
Right. Oh, I do have advantage. Ooh, if I have advantage, then I could just Oh, I should have been using sneak the whole time. Well, we'll just do it anyway. Because why not? Yeah, 8.
Sure. An 8 versus... Ooh, an 8! So you actually succeed on that one because you meet the DC.
Great. Alright, so she's going to swing with the short sword that she now has out.
Great.
Because she dropped the dagger. Nat 20.
Natural 20,
27.
baby.
For, what was that? 22 sneak and... I hate this number. 12 piercing?
Yeah, how do you want to do this?
Getting more upset that Strahd keeps trying to rush her, she just throws the dagger to the ground, quickly draws her short sword, and just slashes at the berserker's I guess Achilles.
Great,
And
yeah.
then as he falls on one knee, she quickly stabs him in his throat.
Yeah, you just slash at the back of the ankles, and as he stumbles forward and tries to catch himself on the bookcase, a number of scrolls actually fall down on top of him. And as they begin to fall and cascade down, you kind of just swing around the back and just... and the throat is gone. And as the rest of the scrolls begin to hit the floor, all that's left standing is you over a corpse, pulling your sword out of the back of his neck.
As she pulls it out, she's gonna pick up her dagger and bow that she dropped.
I do appreciate the dance of combat. But it
Yeah,
did take
well-
a while.
Yes, it would have went quicker. You know, you're just like Vila. Just doesn't want to help. But did you find what you were looking for at least?
Well, not yet, but we have many bookcases to go.
Okay, well, go ahead.
So, he's gonna attempt to look around the room. What are you doing in this time?
She's going to quickly ask, is there a certain keyword I should be looking for in one of these books?
Well, it's difficult to say. Anything regarding the mists would be important. Control of weather would also be useful for this. Mentions of the dark powers would be nice. Anything that you think is extraordinary.
She'll nod and then she'll perform what is that? Is that an investigation or a perception on this for the bookcases?
That is up to you. Are you getting hands-on and pulling things out, or are you just looking from afar and looking at, like, names on the books that you can find?
She'll look at the names and see if she can find something first before she just pulls books out.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a perception check.
26.
26. So here's the interesting thing that you get. All the books that you're looking at don't have titles on the backs. Which you're like, okay, that's not too crazy, I guess. You know, a bunch of these are probably spell books. Stuff like that. You can look towards a couple of the tomes are open, a couple of the scrolls are open, and they don't have any text on them.
The tomes that open don't have any text in them?
Not that you can see.
How are you reading these books exactly? It seems like some of them doesn't have anything on them.
Well, I am not. It would appear that none of the ones that I have found have any text at all either.
Uh, a quick perception on the room now that I guess berserkers are dead. Are there books on the ground, like kind of just like face down? Like minus the ones that I knocked over at the end of the fight. More like I'm looking to see if a berserker maybe opened one of the books, or like opened the wrong book, and it caused that sort of madness to them.
Yeah, there are a couple of books on the ground, but they all appear to be either face down, some of them are closed, one of them is open, and it appears to have blank text as well.
And the Stride, did I see Stride like actually pull books from the bookshelf?
You do, yeah. He kind of pulls one and
Okay.
opens it and flicks through and closes it and puts it back.
She's going to, I guess, scan the room a bit more. Maybe one of the bookshelves moves, like skid marks of some type of sort.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a perception check for traps or secret
All
whatevers.
right. 14. That's low for Tia.
14. Um. Let me see here. So with 14, what you get is nothing. Nothing at all.
Uh, she'll say to Stride, "Do you think there's might be something behind one of these bookshelves? Sometimes there are, but as you can see, she like kind of shows herself. I can't really push these.
Right. It is a possibility that they are behind. This is difficult.
You watch as he kind of takes a moment and casts a spell that appears to affect himself. As his eyes kind of shift to a different color for a second, and he pulls open another book and closes it, and you see like a brief mote of frustration on his face.
I will try and pull open the bookshelves from the walls.
And he kind of goes up to one. And he's gonna roll
She'll
athletics.
step back, so doesn't fly on her.
Oh yeah. He kind of puts his hand on the back wall and then sticks his fingers in and just pulls with one arm, pushing his weight on the wall itself. And the like thick, heavy marble bookcase does begin to pull outwards. He pulls it out about 2 feet, angled on the one side, It kind of looks back.
There's nothing. It is clear that these books must be under some sort of spell. They must be. I do not believe for a second that they were empty this whole time.
You know what sucks is it's out of character. There's the same spell I believe that I listened to on a podcast. I was using like not Spelljammer, and Pathfinder, and I can't think of the name of it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what's going on here. But if we can't read them, you wouldn't have to have like some type of dispel magic, or can you locate like a different magic source? At least, somewhere in the room?
Unfortunately, I carry neither the dispel magic or detect magic spells in my personal repertoire. Quite the conundrum. But this is why I brought you here. There has to be more to this room. Please, keep looking. We will find something.
Okay, so has Tia looked on top of the bookshelves? I'm assuming she looked all over them, or
From your perception check, you kind of stood in the middle of the room and kind of like gave each one an up and down. You haven't investigated any of them.
she's going to start with the leftmost one, I guess, right, and she is going to roll an investigation on it.
Okay, go ahead and roll your investigation check.
16.
16. Yeah, so you begin pulling them out and opening them and closing them and putting them away. From where you are, and this does look like a library, and you do recognize that some of these could potentially be spell books. There's definitely some kind of incantation here that prevents them from being read. The trick is figuring out what it is and how to dispel it, and you're not entirely sure of how to do that at this point.
She quickly turns to Strahd and says, "Do you think you can put out the candles real quick?"
Yes.
And he kind of twists his hand and casts Prestidigitation, which you are familiar with because of Malin, and there's a small gust of wind that blows out
She's
each
going to ask,
candelabra.
Can you read any one of them now? She's going to look at the same book she's holding.
Yeah, he watches. He instinctively looks over. Obviously, he has dark vision.
No. There are no words.
All right. Well, I guess turn at least a candle or two back on, if you don't mind. She's going to
twist the hand the other way, and they begin lighting again.
She's going to check the other bookcase.
Yeah, you go through them all one by one, and you give a thorough investigation of each one. There's nothing about the bookcases that screams to you. All that you're finding are tomes, scrolls, and books that are empty.
She's going to check under the two rugs by checking this one right over here. Roll an investigation.
Go ahead and roll investigation.
19.
There's nothing about the furniture that screams out to you either, other than the fact that it's old and dusty. It was, for a time, nice, and probably used decently enough. It is somewhat strange, as you begin to think. Should this be the work of a single wizard, there would be one chair. There are more, which means that the place that you're in probably held several spellcasters at some point.
It's nothing about the furniture. Not the bookcases. She's going to check the walls itself with investigation. Start touching the walls.
Yeah, go ahead and roll investigation. Which wall are you touching?
She's touching. Well, if she's there, she's just gonna go right up front and touch that one.
Okay.
12.
Nothing that you can find on this wall.
She's going to check the far right wall. I'm at a loss here.
Go ahead. Go roll again.
12 again.
Yeah, Strahd is just kind of sitting there, holding his chin in his hand and thinking to himself, nothing on that wall.
She's going to check the left one, and then she has another idea.
Go ahead.
Investigation on that wall. Huh, that one. It was only going to get worse.
Yeah, you're not finding anything in this room. This is just a room with no doors, no windows, no visible entrances or exits anywhere, but these books that do not have text.
He's going to check the berserkers.
Okay. Go ahead.
18.
You poke around the sloppy mess that was once a person. You find hide armor. They're all fairly beefy. And you begin to wonder how they got here. Because they were alive. At one point, before you came in here, they were alive. They're not undead. And they're decently well fed. So, what happened? How'd they get here?
You said there was a broken wall on the second floor with those crates?
There was a broken wall down on the bottom floor, yeah.
You wouldn't happen to think that whoever casted this spell probably knows sarcophagus downstairs, do you?
The sarcophagi are not open. What is inside of them? It is possible that they had something to do with this. It's possible. But these things are difficult and complicated. Should you wish to talk to them? Well, I will not tell you no.
Man. And you said it's not the furniture, but is it still possible to check the chairs?
Yeah.
All right, she's going to start checking with this chair, see if there's anything on it. For that one.
Nope.
Good God.
They are old, dusty chairs.
She's gonna look to Strahd and say, maybe you could just burn the furniture?
For what purpose?
I don't know. It's clearly this room is under some type of spell, or someone has casted something. It's either the person's still alive or they have a certain seal somewhere.
And you think it is hidden in the chairs?
Well, I can't find anything on the bookcases. Have you?
He turns around and goes and takes a look. He's gonna roll a perception check. That's a mediocre roll for him. Oh shit, he's got a really high perception. He gives it a look over.
For the bookcases, no. But this place, it has to have an opening somewhere.
He goes ahead and walks over to the west wall, right here.
I think that's the wall I beefed it on, right?
Yeah, that's the wall that you rolled a nat 1 on.
Uh, she's going to go up to that same wall and just start hitting her paws against it.
You begin hitting your paws against it, and he begins kind of like pushing on the stone slightly before stepping back and conjuring a mage hand, getting that to push in as well. Until eventually one of the stones just clicks in,
Yeah, that was the wall I beefed it on.
and he kind of tilts his head. And you watch as he moves his hand down, and the mage hand grips in underneath of the stone and begins pulling it out. There is, in fact, a secret door there.
Oh.
And it opens up into a rectangular room that is filled with nothing but cobwebs. It's an empty room.
That's nonsense. There's nothing on the ceiling and there's nothing on the ground.
The ceiling is 10 feet high, and there's nothing but dust and cobwebs.
She's going to grab one of the books and just make sure when she drops it in the room, but without stepping in it, she's just going to make sure the page is open. And just drops it in there.
You grab it and drop it in there. The pages are open, and there's no text.
You wouldn't happen to think that if there's a room here, there might be a room on the other side.
This is an interesting hypothesis. By all means.
She's going to walk over there and try to find close to the same spot Strahd pulled the stone from.
Yeah, you go ahead and try and push in on all the stones. Nothing's happening on that wall.
She's going to go back down and still look for stones to push in on the south wall.
Roll another investigation check for me.
Okay. For once, can't you roll high, 10?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
God. She looks back to him and say, perhaps you can do that same trick on this wall. I'm having a real bad night, apparently.
You are not confident in your own abilities?
I'm confident. There's always that weird saying that people here use a lot. The gods are against me, and for some reason, I feel that's starting to affect me.
I see.
And he just kind of walks back over to the side of you and begins fiddling around the wall. As he does so, he begins talking to you again, and he says,
I assume I will not be hearing from your friends again.
Define hearing.
They will not come and answer my propositions, shall we say. If I might inquire, why did you decide to keep him alive?
She sits there and thinks for a moment and says, because, Faze can't lie, but what she believes, she says, well, probably for the sake of power.
You think
Whatever
he will,
makes... Go ahead.
You think he will aid you in your fight against me?
Yeah, I guess that's what we believe.
For what reason do you think this?
Well, I mean, he's a powerful mage that went up against you. I mean, granted, he lost, but there's always that saying there's strength in numbers.
Dear child, even I have heard of the great Mordenkainen. A selfish man. He will not help you in this fight. As it was foretold, I believe, by Madame Ava. No?
I don't think Tia got told that. I think she was stoned at the time.
but Malin did tell you afterwards.
Okay. Oh yeah, he did. Okay. Uh, yeah, I believe so.
Well, I have grown to trust in her readings, you know. She is almost as old as I am, and she
Is
is
she?
wise. Oh,
I
yes.
I personally haven't seen her myself. Well, seen her conscious. Me conscious.
She is almost as attuned to this land as I am. She has had the ability to leave for many, many years, and yet she chooses to stay, recruiting adventurers in the fight against the Devil of Barovia. A feeble
And
effort.
if she has that power to go out the mist, how come she doesn't recruit people outside and then bring them inside?
She does. Where do you think Malin came from?
Oh, that does make sense.
She believes this in her whole heart, that a group eventually will come along and defeat me. Maybe it will be yours, dear. But I will say, the rate that things are going, I highly doubt that. You watch as he pushes in on a stone and it. The stone wall begins to move to the side. And you look down to find a stone staircase that goes down to another wall.
I would just like to say, out of character, I don't know what's been going on with Tia's actual rogue abilities, not, clicking in on traps and whatnot, but it's pretty annoying.
I'm rolling really well tonight, which is fitting because it's Strahd. But I don't know why you're not. I guess Tia's just feeling pressure. I
I
guess.
yeah, I don't know. Like I'm being brought back to the mage tower where I couldn't lock pick that trap door. I was oh man. But she's going to look down the staircase and roll perception on it.
Yeah, go ahead and roll for traps.
26.
It does not appear to be trapped.
She's going to start making her way slowly down.
Okay. You make your way down, followed by Strahd. And you come down to the end where you find a wall where the staircase just ends.
The wall down here.
Yep.
Okay. She's
You
going.
know there's a lever somewhere around there that you can pull that will probably open a door there.
Yeah, she's going to do another perception check, looking at the walls.
Sure.
14.
14. Yeah, you find a lever on the side of the wall that you pick out pretty easily.
All right, she's going to pull it.
Okay, you go ahead and pull, and the wall in front of you also begins to fade down into the floor. You look forward, and what you see is the back of a statue. Is what you see. I'll just let's give it like right there. And then we'll go all the way around to like here. You get right about there. You see a bunch of rubble and dirt that is kind of sitting off to your right as you come down. But it's the back of a statue.
She's going to take another step and she's going to just check the floor in front of her right there and make sure, at least that part isn't trapped. She's not stepping on anything.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and roll investigation or perception.
26. For
That part of
perception.
the floor is not trapped.
Alright, so she's going to step on it and see if she gets a better sight of what's around her.
Yeah, you go ahead and step through, and you can peek around the back of the statue if you want to. But you see that it opens up into kind of like a big open room. This room, I mean, you don't see in front of the statue, but you're gonna move around there anyway, so I'll reveal it in a second. There are two alcoves right here. One of them holds a statue in it. One of them on the other side does not. It appears to have been broken over there. But you look up at the statue in front of you, which is about 40 foot tall, and it depicts a cowled figure in flowing robes, its hands outstretched as if it were in the midst of casting a spell. You go ahead and turn around and look at it, and its face is just this void of black. The statue stands between two balconies, which are those dotted lines on the map. That's where the balconies are.
Oh, okay. Alright.
One of those is kind of crumbled a little bit and partially collapsed. That is in front of an open doorway on that side. There's still no light in here, so it's impossible to tell colors, but the walls of the temple do appear to be reminiscent of the ones in that room that you arrived in. And there are hallways that lead to the west and east. The statue to your right that you can see that's intact depicts a robed human wizard with a pointed hat and a staff. That's about as much as you get right now.
Okay. She'll talk to Strahd and she'll mention, I have a strong feeling that these statues might have some type of purpose in with that spell in the upper room. I mean, if one of them's destroyed, then it kind of gives a sense of, well, if we just destroy all the statues in here.
I see. Well, would you like to test your hypothesis? Perhaps start with that one.
And he beckons towards the smaller one underneath the crumpled balcony.
She's going to... it's the crumbled balcony. So, the balcony's above the statue, right?
Yeah, so you can get in and around.
Okay. There's something I want to avoid here.
Yeah, you do kind of see as you go in that little opening right there.
Yeah, I have a strong suspicion. Probably where the opening leads to. But carefully she'll go along the wall here. And she wants to just take a peek inside that opening. I don't know if I want to move another step or not.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll a stealth check and then a perception check.
26 stealth, 23 perception.
Okie dokie. So, these are... the doors that once sealed this great stone room have been smashed. Their pieces lying amid crushed bones, armor, and weapons. You look into here and you see there is a 30-foot high flat ceiling. There's a 10-foot square hole in the northwest corner of the ceiling. Oh, nope. That's not true. Never mind. Ignore that. The remains of people are lying on the floor in here. And this is a mostly empty room. Other than, tattered remains and armor and weapons. But some of the remains are still lying here. And you can look above them to see faintly, glowing and twitching spirits that remind you of one that you saw in Death House.
Oh.
One that was, shall we say, had a liking for Gar,
Yeah.
if you recall correctly.
And I just have a strong suspicion that spirit's not gonna like Strahd. So she's going to quietly go back and whisper over to Strahd. So I think there's a spirit in there. Judging by what type of place this is and your reputation, I don't think they'll fancy you too much. So maybe my theory of destroying the statues probably would be the best idea. It's just gonna alert them.
I see.
And I
Well,
don't. I also don't have the means of taking them out either.
then what do you propose we do?
She's how about we just check? Is this door on the balcony or is it below it?
It's below it.
She's going to walk over to this one stealthily and she says, "How about we just try going in here first?"
I see.
So
Well,
she's going to go ahead.
Yeah. You can go ahead and try if you want to.
Perception for traps on the door.
Sure, go ahead and roll a perception check.
24.
24 does not appear to be trapped.
Does it appear to be locked as she gives it a slight tug or push?
It does appear to be locked, yeah.
She's going to move in front of it. She's going to use thieves' tools on it.
Okay, go ahead and roll your thieves' tools to unlock the door.
21.
21. Okay, you go ahead and try and pick the lock. And yeah, we'll set it at the same DC. The door does not open. As
Are you kidding? Those. Oh, go for it.
You're trying to pick it, and part of this lock, and it is an intricate lock, part of it is bolstered by something else. There is a magical component to this lock as well.
Okay, now I'll tell you self-esteem starter. So she's gonna go back and says, I couldn't open it. There's some type of magical interference. But I got the physical part unlocked of it. I couldn't get the magical part unlocked.
I see.
You wouldn't happen to have some type of means to do it, would you?
This is proving to be a less fruitful endeavor than I had expected from you, dear.
What? I don't think they make magical thieves' tools unless you know a guy that I don't.
What do you propose we do here? You may try and destroy the statue. Or what?
Well, if we destroy the statue, it's just gonna alert those spirits in there.
So, why don't I stay up in the library and I will watch the books? You destroy the statue and hide afterwards, which you are so good at. And I will tell you if anything changes.
This seems like a horrible plan. I'm not even gonna hold you, Strahd.
I am following your lead here, dear, but so far the only one to have made any real progress here is me.
That hurts.
Is
That really
it
hurts.
false?
No, it's not.
Well then.
Just from a glance, she's gonna look at the down statue over there. Does it look like she could even push the other one?
If you rolled high enough on a strength check, sure.
There's not a chance, dude. There's not a chance. she's going to go around here, and instead of going along the wall, she's going to try to go a bit lower. And when she gets about like right here, she's gonna check for traps, make sure it's not like any by the main statue.
Sure.
Perception. 26.
There don't appear to be any traps that you can see currently.
Alright, that means she's right there. She's going to carefully move her way across and over.
Yep.
And she'll get right by it, and she'll take a really good look at the statue now that she's closer to it.
Yeah, you take a look at it, and you see a human wizard with a staff, kind of standing there looking stoic and powerful. It's all kind of one single thing. It's not built from the ground up. It's sort of nestled on a podium there. So if you rolled high enough on a strength check, you could, in theory, knock it over.
Oh, she's going to get a bit closer, and she's going to investigate it first. She want to make sure it's not trapped.
Sure.
Anyway, 20.
Doesn't appear to be trapped.
All right. Well, she's going to get behind it and step up on the podium, and she's gonna look to Strahd first and kind of give him the signal to go up.
Okay. Strahd goes up.
And she is going to push. This is just going to be embarrassing at this point.
Go ahead and
Can't wait to
roll
embarrass myself.
an athletics check.
Athletics. This is still embarrassing. It's an 8. It's higher than I thought it would be.
It's not budging.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of sits there and stares at it, and says, "Yeah, I don't understand how he thought I could actually push this down."
You can try again
So-
if you want.
She's gonna give it one more shot.
Okay, DC's pretty high right now.
It's a 2.
You're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, no. So she's getting down from the podium, and she's going to walk back on over. She's going to go back up and wait for Strahd to come down, hopefully.
So you're just waiting right there?
Yeah, she's going to wait about like 10 seconds, because by then hopefully Strahd would have noticed like a crashing sound of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
But, if he hasn't heard one, then clearly he should come back down.
Yeah, you end up waiting for about a minute before you hear the very quiet footsteps of Strahd begin to walk back down. So that didn't work either.
Well, no, Strahd, I can't push a statue down. It's made of what? It was made of marble, right?
It's made of stone, I believe.
So, I can't push essentially what's a boulder off of a podium.
He kind of and just walks by up towards the statue. Let me put Strahd right there. And you watch as he turns to look at you, puts his hand on the thing. And it falls to the ground fairly easily. And he just down on the ground.
Yeah.
We'll go up and check the book, I suppose.
She's going to go upstairs and check. I don't know if you want to move my character up there or not.
Yeah, you go up there and check, and you grab a book, and nothing has changed.
She goes back down and shakes her head, and she's like, "Well, there's more chairs in that room. Maybe there's a few more statues, unless you want to give a crack at this big one in the center."
You are looking at him, and you see a faint purple emerge from the wall next to you.
Oh, then she will quietly go back up the stairs.
You're just gonna go back up the stairs?
She's gonna hopefully like point at the mist signaling Strahd, saying, "Hey, something's coming out of that room." Because
Okay.
I assume you're talking about this room here, right?
I am, yeah.
Okay. So she's gonna point to Strahd, and I guess she's probably just gonna make her way around the other side of the statue. I think that'll be the better choice, rather than get locked up.
Okay. Sure, so go ahead and roll a stealth check for me, since you're doing that.
All right.
And he's going to slink around and do the same as well, back around
So
this
22.
corner. A 22. Or stealth for Strahd. Not super great for Strahd. But his stealth is plus 14, so...
Yeah. Must be nice.
it says you.
I have a +7.
Yeah, you both kind of slink around, and you watch as the spectre kind of just drifts forward, head down, and it's kind of twitching around, and it looks back at the statue, and it goes and drifts over there as well. And it kind of stays there for a couple minutes, just kind of looking in at it. Do you do anything in this time?
Okay, if Strahd's over in that corner, then there's really no place for her to hide. I guess there's technically... She's gonna make her way down behind this as it's looking.
Sure, yeah.
So she's gonna sit right there.
You sit right there, and it just kind of stays there. Twitching, almost like an electric energy, keeping it alive. And it stays there for a good couple minutes before it just twitches randomly back to where it came from and begins drifting back over.
Okay. Then T is gonna signal to Strahd to keep moving down. After seeing that, she's getting the idea that the statues, that those whatever those electroplasm spirits ish things, there's probably 4 statues. If there might be about 4 of them in there, so there might be like 2 more statues they have to destroy. So she's going to kind of move against the wall here and just check this corridor, see if there's anything down it.
Yeah, you go ahead and peer around there. And you see this corridor ends in a wall right there. Along this wall, I'm going to sit that right there, and we'll do this right about there. It's about as much as you can see.
It's more rubble. Okay.
So, along this wall, you see the walls and ceiling of this great hall still coated in that familiar stuff. There's not really been any light, so you still can't make it out. To the north, the hall is collapsed, and there's nothing but a wall of rubble there. There are many doors from this hall. And that's all you see. You just see the hallway and the doors.
She's going to pass the hallway here, and she's going to get about here and see if there's a statue in this spot.
There is, in fact, a statue in that spot. Right there. You also see, looking down, a staircase. Right there.
Jeez, another staircase. Does it go up or down? I'm horrible about this.
It goes up.
Okay. It just came going down. Well, we destroyed 2 of them? Maybe, unless this is not the play here. She's going to look back at Strahd and again do like a staircase motion going up.
He kind of, instead of nodding, he just kind of begins walking over to you through the main hallway. He's not really so concerned with being seen as you are. He'll just walk over here.
There's two more statues, or at least there's this one. I assume there's one directly across from it. I don't know if you want to destroy this or you want to just check upstairs. Maybe you guys to keep whoever they're sealing with upstairs, or maybe you're fine what you look for upstairs.
Well, if the book did not change, then I doubt the statues have any correlation with the magic that is holding over the library. Upstairs we go.
Right, and so she'll pass it, and then she'll go up.
Okay. You go ahead and mosey on up. Let's go back to the other map. Oh, great. Okay. So, this is much bigger.
Oh, joy.
So I can just... Well, it's kind of the same thing. Let me grab you two. You're not right there. So all you've done, basically, is you've gone from the bottom floor to the top floor, again. And you go ahead and step up to the top floor of this section. You see to your right, there is a doorway that is open, that leads into another room. There are walls down below you on the map, and there's some kind of other opening in the middle of it, and all the way on the far wall there's another doorway.
Okay. She's first just going to peer inside this open doorway.
Sure. You go ahead and look inside that door. What are we on? Like 6. This room is featureless, except for a rough-edged, 10-foot diameter circular hole in the floor to the east, and empty torch sconces along the walls. Double doors stand open to the north and west, and a single closed door lies just south of the western set of double doors. Let me go ahead and reveal this section for you as well. I'm just going to give you all of it. We'll do that right there. Those little knobbly bits are the torch sconces.
Interesting.
There is a hole. There is a hole right there. Yep.
Well, she's going to cautiously step in. Nothing happens. She's going to notice the hole, but then she's going to just look at the doorway first and see if there's anything inside this one. This doorway.
Okay. So, you go ahead and slip in. With your passive perception of 17, you do make about, floating around the hole, there are 3 small, maybe that big, orbs of green, glowing light. That are just kind of floating there. With your 22 stealth that you rolled earlier, you go ahead and take a peek through into this section right here, and you look forward to see a 20-foot wide, about 70-foot long, arched corridor. There is a closed door in the middle of the eastern wall, and 3 arrow slits are cut into the wall across from it. There are cracks in the floor that run the length of the hall.
Okay.
So those arrow slits look down into the main hallway that you were in before.
Right. She'll carefully go back to Strahd and tell him about the hole and be like, so there's this hole in this room about, what, 10 feet, and there's these green glowing orbs. Would you happen to know what those are?
Finally, he rolled terrible on something.
It could be anything. This is a place of ancient magic.
Right. And you said this is a temple, right?
Yes, it is.
Well, if there are clearly about 5 wizards that stay at this temple, in your layout, where would you keep your, I guess, belongings? Or maybe like a prayer room of sorts?
Wizards who have a prayer room.
Or study. I guess study is the correct word.
Well, for study, I would put I would put those belongings in a library, but it would appear we've already found that one. Personal belongings, I would probably keep in personal quarters.
Right. Uh, she is going to then hug this wall down, and then she's going to walk and peer down this hallway.
Okay, you go ahead and peer down that hallway, and you see that hallway ends in a staircase that goes up and out, and you see beyond it the Barovian night sky.
Okay. So that there's that, but they wouldn't be up there.
You also pick
Um,
out, as you're looking out, faint snowflakes beginning to drift down.
what from the at the top of the staircase?
Yeah, from the sky down to the ground at the top of the staircase.
She quickly goes back to Strahd and asks, would this amber temple be on top of a mountain of sorts?"
Something like that, yes.
She is she's going to carefully make her way down the hallway, checking for traps.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your perception investigation check.
25.
25. You do see arrow slits in either side of the walls. You make out, traditionally, there would probably be an archer in either of these. However, there is nothing in the, to you, the room on the right. The room on the left, however, there is the skeleton of a wizard who probably froze to death, and it is clutching an interesting looking wand to its chest.
She's what? So it's in that arrow slit, but I can see the wizard through that arrow slit, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's right in there.
Okay. Uh, is she able to get in that room?
Oh, that's a good question. You're attempting to squeeze through the arrow slit?
She kind of just wants to like make sure the room's not trapped in any way. So she wants to like just kind of like just peek her head in to make sure like
Okay.
the guy that died in there didn't die to anything.
Yeah,
I
well,
guess
so
a
you,
better question. Sorry.
go ahead.
I guess a better question is that guy that's in there, does he have a bow and arrow in there with him?
So there's no bow and arrow in there. He just has the wand. And you take a look at it, the wand is... It doesn't show any signs of decay or anything like that. With your 25 perception, because you were looking for traps in either side of the room and the hallway, you don't see a door in there, but you do kind of make out on the back wall over there some slight, like weird placement of stone. There's probably a secret door back there that you could get into.
Okay. Mm. She's going to. She's going to attempt to squeeze through.
Okay, I'm gonna have
She's
you.
going to. She's going to tell the Strahd, if I get in trouble, you can mind busting the wall.
Sure.
Roll a
She's going to
dexterity check for me.
Sure.
as you
Let's
try
give it
and
a shot.
squeeze through. The only thing allowing you to do
13.
this is your feline form. It's an arrow slit.
I was gonna say, I don't know how
Yeah.
big these arrow slits are. So
Arrow slits normally are about that big, I think, which is about enough room
Right.
for a cat to fit in. So you just about manage. It's a tight squeeze, and you kind of have to go one limb at a time, but you do manage to squeeze in, drop down on all fours, and you're in the room.
Right, well, before immediately like checking the wand, she's gonna check the back wall that he's by.
Yeah, it does appear to be loose. You kind of can make out a secret door. This one probably pulls open, but not towards you. It's
Right.
probably in the other room.
Okay. So she can't open it from here unless she like maybe pushes the stone.
It's already kind of ajar, so you can probably push it open if you want to.
All right, she's going to attempt to push it with her baby strength.
Yeah, you go ahead and push it open. It's just a door.
All right.
You pushed open doors before.
Yeah.
Even with your baby strength. You look in and you see shattered bits of wood covering the floor of this 20-foot square room.
Oh, well, that's worthless. So she's going to look back at the wand, and I guess can she roll an Arcana on it?
Yeah, to attempt to identify it, sure.
Yeah. Oh, that one.
It's definitely a wand, and it's not made of wood. It's made of metal.
Interesting. How did the guy get in here and then just die? Surely he could have gotten out. She's going to grab the wand.
You go ahead and you grab it.
And quickly looks around to see if anything happens.
Nothing happens.
She's going to walk back to the arrow slit and attempt to squeeze back through.
Yeah, you do so. You just
Okay.
pop through.
Now that she's holding the wand, she's going to keep going upstairs.
Okay. You go upstairs and you take a look outside. And what you see as you come out here is snow.
Okay. Well, I think that helps with getting a better layout of the place in some way. Why does this place have a basement? Okay. She's gonna go back. Probably the same way. But now that she knows where the entrance is, she has a sneaky feeling that the other door that's closed is probably the same, but it might not have that hole. She's gonna walk back over there and she's gonna check to see if this door's locked.
Okay, that door right there. Let me pull open my thing. That door is not locked.
She's going to, I guess she already checked it. She's just going to slightly start pushing it open, see if she can at least just barely see inside the room.
Okay. So you're just slowly pushing it open. So roll a stealth check for me.
Jokes. 21.
21. You just go ahead and like gently peek the door open. And you look inside as best you can to see a number of figures, not unlike the ones that you were just fighting.
Yeah.
In the previous room. All in like bedrolls on the floor. There's kind of a crack in the bottom of the wall over there. And a large direwolf that's asleep in the middle of the room.
Oh. It's a good thing I rolled high on stealth, huh?
Yeah, pretty good job.
Alright, well, But okay, so that's weird. So why was there a hole in the other room? Um, she's going to because she didn't open all the ways. I guess. Does she know if it's possible for her to close that door stealthily still?
Yeah, you can close it stealthily if you want.
All right, yeah. So she'll close it. She'll go back to Strahd and say, so there's a bunch of those berserkers that we ran into earlier, and a giant direwolf in that room. I guess this is part of a group that were raiding the temple.
How interesting.
Yes, but I doubt they have what we're looking for.
Right. I expect that to be deeper into the temple,
Right.
for which I fear we are going the wrong way.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the sense that seeing the front entrance. So she's going to because it wouldn't be upstairs. I just don't think it will be upstairs. So she's gonna go back down.
Okay, you go ahead and go back down. Let's bring you back to the lower map.
Okay. Down here. That way's blocked off, but she's going to direct Strahd and tell him about the hallway that's down there. So she's going to round a corner and take a peek.
Okay, you go around the corner and take a peek. You do see, as you look down there, there are another 2 doors down there, one on the right, one on the bottom, as well as 3 older looking women in crooked hats wielding brooms.
What is this place? She's going to slink back around the corner and let Strahd know. So, witches or hags? 3 of them down there. I'm not good with magic. We should probably just go somewhere else. So we'll probably check your side of the place that you went before.
Right.
So she's going to go down here and see what she sees down there. I want to put her right there.
Okay, you go down there. So what you see down here is basically a large open square with a thick set of double doors down all the way at the bottom.
Okay. So I know where the entrance is at. So this is definitely does not lead to the outside. And I also have another question. So that statue that's in the center, was it voided black because of some type of magic, or I just couldn't just get a good look at it?
It's difficult to tell since there is no light in here. It just looks completely voided black.
Okay. She's going to direct Strahd to the double door down there.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to first perception for traps just in that area. With
Sure.
that one. We're
Nat
just gonna
one.
risk it.
Not trapped.
We're just gonna walk along the wall carefully. And then she's gonna get up to the door and roll an investigation.
Okay, you go ahead and roll investigation to determine.
9. Determine for traps. 9. I'm sure it's not trapped, right?
No traps.
Great. She's gonna check if it's locked.
Yeah, with that check, you don't know if it's locked.
She's going to push slightly, ever so slightly. Stealthily.
Okay, you go ahead and push open. Roll a strength check for me.
She's embarrassing me at this point. 5.
You go ahead and push. They're not budging.
So, hi, Strahd. I can't open this door. Once again, she just kind of stands up and shows herself eyes. It's not really meant for strength, you know. Also, I feel I should warn you. I wasn't too sure about this door. So, I touched it, as you can see, but I don't know what's behind it.
I will attempt to open it.
You can see Strahd's getting a little frustrated with the lack of progress that's being made.
Annoying to you too, trust me.
Yeah, he goes and tries to push it open, and it doesn't budge. Even with his he's pretty strong. He's not like super duper strong. He's probably not as strong as Blair, but he's pretty strong. And he goes and tries to push it open, and it's not going.
Okay. Well, we're starting to narrow it down. We can't get through here. We'll check your hallway. I guess if we find nothing there, we could just go back to the sarcophagus and open one of those.
You wish to open the sarcophagus?
Well, unless you have any other bright ideas, I would love to hear them. We're not really getting anywhere.
I shall follow your lead, dear.
Right. So she's gonna go back up, and what? I assume another statue, another staircase.
Another statue, another staircase. Yeah, you've seen those already.
Yeah. So she's just going to, seeing as she's walked past already two of the statues, she's just gonna walk back this one, assuming nothing happens, and she's going to check down this hallway.
Okay, you check down that hallway. I'll just give it to you as close as you can get. We'll just look at it right there. And Strahd will follow you up. So he's right behind you. Okay.
She's gonna go ahead.
So this hallway does have dust covering the black floor. The vaulted ceiling is 25 feet high. Set into the walls at a height of 5 feet are these ledges lined with life-sized alabaster statues of cats, frogs, hawks, owls, rats, ravens, snakes, toads, and weasels. Many of those have fallen off their perches and lie shattered on the floor. There is a door in the north wall that does stand open, and 4 other doors to the west and south that are closed.
She's going to check the hallway for traps first with perception. I'm sure it's going to be great. Yeah, see, not one. Called it.
Damn, dude.
So,
you can start rolling different dice.
So she's going to, I guess, slowly walk past each of the statues.
Yeah.
They're still there.
Go ahead and roll an intelligence check for me.
This would be good for sure, as soon as I can find it. Nope. Lie. That's a 3.
No idea about the statues.
No clue. Alright, she's going to keep walking all the way up to the doorway and peer inside.
Okay. You go ahead and peer inside, and you roll a perception check for me.
Sure. 25.
25. Good stuff. Okay. This room has 2 sarcophagi that stand in alcoves to the west and east. There is a 3rd sarcophagus that once stood in the north alcove that instead now lies shattered on the floor. Clustered in the middle of the room are 4 hunched creatures. They're definitely not human, I'll tell you that. As they're kind of hunched over there, kind of slinking around, you do make out briefly that each one has a single large eye on the front of the face.
Great. Am I able to see the room, or are you still revealing it?
Yeah, I'll reveal it for you. We'll just do a little doop and a little doop.
Okay, yeah, so not a chance. So that's like 5 sarcophagi. A lot of wizards. She's going to go back, relay the information for Strahd. Cyclops, it seems like sarcophagi smashed. I words, they're probably not in there. We'll check the southernmost part.
You know what, Tia? What is the saying? You cannot make an omelette without breaking a few eggs. Hmm?
Oh, yes, that is the saying.
I fear we are not getting anywhere because we are running from every perceivable threat.
Well, yes, but it's. What do you expect me to do with the ectoplasmas, wherever it is? You're going to have some type of physical resistance. I have no magical aspects whatsoever.
Tia, each sarcophagus does not hold a wizard of the Amber Temple. It holds a dark power. The dark powers that rule the land of Barovia. The dark powers that control the mists.
So why could we just open the first sarcophagi in the room that we were in? With the boxes?
Opening is one thing, but destroying is another. I did not know this was possible.
So you want to destroy the sarcophagi then?
I wonder if doing so will lift the mists.
That is a lot of sarcophagi to destroy.
Well, how many are in this room?
Well, there's already one smash and there's two in there.
Then let us try. And he kind of walks over to right about here. And he begins casting a spell under his breath, and from within his hands as he circles them, a mote of fire that you have seen before burns brighter and brighter, and he holds it up to his mouth and blows, and it... He's going to cast Fireball into the room that you were just in.
Oh god.
All of those creatures are going to make dex saves. There are 4 of them, so I will roll 4 times. That's not a d20. Okay, 2 of them rolled pretty well. It's a dex save. What's the DC? Okay, 2 of them just make it.
Alright.
Just about. So, you know what, Ginge? Roll 8d6 for me.
8d6? Jesus. Okay, that's 8, 3, 7, 8, 5, 3, 1. I got 3 more. 8d6. Excuse me. It's d6. All right, so 6, 6, 5, 5, 5 for 27, and then 5, 3, 3 for 11. So
38
48.
points of damage. Killer. Let's take out this one and this one. You hear from within that room screaming of something inhuman as these creatures set on fire for a brief moment, caught in the explosion. And then you watch as from within the glow of the flame within the door, they begin clawing out. Go ahead and roll initiative for me.
Okay.
From right there. I'll roll them
22.
all at once. Okay. So you go first, Tia. I'm going to say they begin crawling through, like, right here.
Alright.
And you can see them starting to come through.
She's going to use insightful fighting. Maybe it'll work this time. So, whatchamacallit? Insight versus deception.
Deception. Yeah. Okay, that's a 15 for
17.
them. So you beat them.
Alright, great. It's just going to be this first one, because it's only one creature at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to draw her short bow and fire for a 22.
That hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
12 sneak, 5 piercing.
12 sneak, 5 piercing. That one just crumples under the arrow. It's dead.
And that will do it because that was her bonus action.
Okay. It's now their go. I actually rolled above Strahd. So they're going to run... They've got 30 feet of movement speed. They're just going to bolt out of the door. This one right here, this one right here, and this one's going to run right here. They're basically all on Strahd currently. Okay. So the one in front is going to attack him twice with claws. The lowest one is a 17. So both of them hit. Both of them hit Strahd. Good job, little Nothic. Strahd takes 8 plus 7, 15 points of slashing damage from the first.
Oh, God.
The second one is going to do the same thing. It hits with 1. So Strahd takes an additional 7 points of damage. And the third one, you watch as it reels back and kind of tilts its head forward and twists. And this strange, like, gaze seems to emanate from the eye and try and take hold into Strahd. He obviously will try and resist. And will most definitely succeed. As he shrugs off the effect of the gaze of the Nothic. Okay. It's now his turn. Strahd's going to... Shaboobity boop. I think he's just going to... First of all, Strahd regains some hit points. How many does he regain? Oh, good. He is basically back to full. Then he's going to attempt to grapple this one in front of him. Succeeds on the grapple. And then he's going to roll to hit it. Which is not great to hit. It's a 15. Which is the armor class of the... Oh, sorry. It's a contested thing, right? Yeah, the Nothic definitely fails that. And then he's gonna... No. I'm wrong. It was 15 to hit, is what it was. And then he's gonna roll damage. For... Okay. So he just grapples that thing and cranks its head to the side and just takes a big gash out of his neck.
Jeez.
That one falls to the ground, and Strahd regains the last bit of hit points that he needs to get back to full. So that one's done, and that's Strahd's turn. And now you look back, and there are 2 down, and he's looking no worse than he was when he started this fight.
Of course he is.
It's your go, Tia.
She's going to insightful fighting this one, because why not? In case Strahd moves for some reason.
That's a 1.
It's a 21.
So you beat that.
Yep, so strip bow. She's going to attack with it. That's a 22
That hits.
for 15.
15 points of damage, yeah. That one's looking pretty rough right now.
And that will do it.
As you slit the arrow in the side of the jaw, and like part of the right side of the jaw just begins to dislocate and hang by about an inch. There go. One of them's going to try and gaze him again. Strahd succeeds, and the other one is going to attack him twice. That one's cocked, which turns it into a hit. And Strahd takes a measly 6 points of damage. It's now Strahd's go. He regains all of his hit points. And let's just do, I guess, a couple of claws, right? Or unarmed strikes, technically, is what it is. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do it on the first one, which is the one that you hit first. Hits for... Fucking dice. Remember this, Ginge. 7 points of slashing. And... 15 points of necrotic.
That's 22 total.
22 total. That one falls dead under the one gaze. He actually reaches in to like the protective film of the eye, just reaches straight in there and grabs something at the back and pulls out. And you watch as the stalk of the eye just pulls out with him, and he just throws it down to the ground, and it sits there. He'll do the same thing to the other one. Misses. Haha. Roll a 14. So that last one is not damaged. Okay. It's back to your turn.
Insightful fighting, because we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
14.
Natural 1.
Alright. So, that is an 18 to hit.
18 hits.
For, again, 15 damage.
Well, the good news is this one is exactly in the position that the last one was on the start of his turn.
Well, the same numbers.
This one, seeing that its friends are dying, is going to slowly try and back up back into the still kind of burning room of the sarcophagi behind. Yeah, and that's its turn. And on the end of its turn, the start of Strahd's turn, he says, "Don't worry, I have this." And he just walks in. I'll just roll real quick. Some dice. Yeah. You hear this faint inhuman screaming from within before it's abruptly cut out. And you know it's dead. It's just dead.
If we're going out of turn order, she's going to just go in the room and say, all right, well, do you think you can destroy these then?
Yeah, you look at them and they are kind of burning a little bit. He kind of looks at them both.
Yes. They take damage. They can be destroyed. You have done me a service today, dear. I know things that I did not before.
I guess, but I mean, there's still at least 3 more back in the room with the crates.
You are correct. But worry not. For I feel I can do this. I am going to stay and continue to damage these sarcophagi. You are free to do as you like. As far as I am concerned, our deal is complete. In doing so, as much as it may pain me to say, you are no longer of use to me, and we will part now as enemies once again. If there is anything else you would like to ask me before this time is up, do so now.
I assume you didn't happen to see the card I was looking for around here, did you? When you were looking through all those books and when I was off doing my own thing?
I did not. You may feel free
I
to
see.
peruse that room again before I am done, but if you are to do so, I would recommend you hurry up.
So, how do I exactly get back?
That is up to you. You know roughly where you are, on a mountain somewhere. Use your skills of deduction to do the rest. Or call on your new wizard friend. I'm sure he has tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, have fun destroying these things, I guess. And she's going to start walking out the room.
Yeah. You are sure you want this path? It only ends in death.
Well, uh, I mean, death's kind of, a thing for us Fae. As soon as we die, that's just it. So, I mean, once we've done what we sought out to do, then we can vanish happily, as we say.
And you seek to do what?
I seek to save my friend.
I wish you luck. It has been fun knowing you. Good
I
night, Faye.
she says under her breath as she's leaving. I unfortunately cannot say the same.
So you go ahead and walk away from the room, leaving the still burning sarcophagi in there, like gently illuminating Strahd's flickering silhouette. As you walk away, you hear another explosion from within, and the faint sound of him laughing. What do you do?
She's probably just going to quickly check up in the library room.
Okay. So you run back up to the library.
She's going to make sure she does a good once over.
Sure thing. So you're just rolling perception again, just to see what you can find?
Yeah, she's going to start like investigating the books, and hopefully she finds something, at least in the area that Strahd was checking in.
Okay, so this is an investigation check, yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
23.
23. You go ahead and investigate this whole room once again. Nothing is catching your attention at all, other than the fact that there is an empty room to the side. But I mean, that could have been a broom closet, I guess.
She's part of me really wants to step in that room. She's going to just peek her head in that room just to double check.
Okay.
Does she look at the walls and like does anything look different like before?
Yeah, go ahead and roll another perception or investigation check, depending on what you want to do.
Perception. Oh, it's a lot. You know what? Can I burn my inspiration to make that nat 20?
You sure can.
I'm
Your
burning the
DM inspiration fades. And you look there, and in the bottom left, something doesn't quite sit right about the wall.
She cautiously steps in and looks at that bottom left corner.
From what you can see, there could be something there.
She's going to investigate.
Okay, go ahead and roll investigation.
14.
14. Nothing is reaching out to you other than the fact that it just looks weird. The only other thing that you're thinking of right now is, I mean, maybe the wand has something that you can do with it. since it came from the Amber Temple, but that's the only other thing that you haven't checked in this entire building.
She takes the wand out, and she just points it at it, pretending she's a wizard. Just points at the corner.
Okay, you just point it. You're pointing it at the corner.
She starts tapping the wall with the wand.
You tap, tap, tap. You kind of think for a moment. You're kind of waving it around, trying to figure out how it works, and you kind of just do this a little bit, and all of a sudden you feel a faint from within the inside of the wand. And all of a sudden the wand moves your whole arm to point towards that section of the wall.
Oh. Okay, she'll go over to that section of the wall then.
Okay. What do you do with it?
What, with the wand?
With that section of the wall?
She's going to start touching on it and, again, looking for any, like, keyholes or loose stones.
Yeah, go ahead and roll investigation.
16.
16. You begin screwing around, and eventually you kind of find a little, almost like ground marking where the door may have slid down on the ground, and you recognize this is a door. And you begin fiddling around, and eventually you find kind of like a shift in it where you can almost push it like forward, and it'll slide down on its own.
She'll attempt pushing it.
Okay, you attempt to push on it, and you do so, and it slides down. Then you take a look forward, and you are sitting behind a desk. You can't make out much beyond the desk because it covers most of the door, but you can see kind of in between where there's not like a flat back, it's kind of like a bar, and then the top of the desk there's like a hole in between. And you can make out a chair and a very ornate rug behind it, and there's a curved wall, and there are other things on the back end of the wall as well.
Well, if there's nothing, is there stuff on the desk?
You can't make out the top of the desk. The door doesn't go that high.
Okay. And she's already in that room, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's on the wall? Can she roll perception on it?
Yeah, go ahead and roll perception.
Okey-dokes. 18.
18. You make out other desks and chairs and chest over there somewhere. There is actually light in this room.
Okay. She's... I guess she'll go towards the chest.
Okay. So you are walking into the room.
Yes.
You go ahead and walk into the room, and you kind of slide under the desk and out of it, and you manage to stand up and look around. And what you see is a very nice room.
Oh my goodness.
It's a 15-foot high room that contains the trappings of royalty. Ornate furniture, exquisite rugs and tapestries, decorative statuary. Everywhere you look are lit candelabras atop small tables. The beauty of the decor is undone by thick dust and cobwebs. As you go ahead and walk in, you're kind of taken aback by the visage of the room, and There's a lot of interesting stuff here, and your mind flashes. Maybe the card isn't here. And as you're walking, you bump into something. It's just kind of standing there. Cloaked in red. It's a humanoid figure.
God.
It turns and you see withered skin. Exceptionally thin, white, flowing hair. A skeleton with faint bits of flesh on it. And burning red pinpoints of light that burn in its eye sockets. It turns and looks down to you. Do I know you?
Well, I don't think so. Do you?
I don't think so.
Is this is this your room?
I believe so, yes. I think.
You think? Are you unsure?
Well, it has been quite some time since I've done really much of anything here. Who are you?
They call me Tia. Who are you exactly?
Do you know, I don't know.
Roll a history check for me.
Oh. Where is it? 8.
You don't know what this is.
Oh, gee. So he's wearing red. He's got long flowing white hair, and he's a skeleton.
Yep. Them's be him.
And you're unsure of how you got here. You don't know who you are, correct?
But do you know, I think I live here.
I mean, it's a very lovely room, but you don't get out.
No, do you know, I can't seem to find the door.
She kind of turns her head at the door.
Oh, you found it. Very good. I think I might go out then.
You could come along with me. You know, I was just thinking about leaving this place. I just want to do a quick once over of this room, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, I think this is my room. So, I feel like that may be an invasion of privacy.
Yes, I understand, but I'm looking for something. You see, it's a blank white card to you. It's like a playing card. That's what I'm essentially looking for.
Roll a persuasion check.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm bad at that. Let's see. 14.
Right, well, if you're looking for it, it must be quite valuable to you then.
But it is.
I see.
It can be. I guess it's a correct wording for it.
And what will you give me if I give it to you?
I mean, what do you want? What are you looking for?
Well, do you know what? I'd quite like to remember my name.
Oh. Well, I mean, I think I know a guy that can probably help you. He's a very powerful wizard. Morden Kanan or Kynan. You ever heard of him?
Modern Kane. You know, I think the name may be somewhere in the back of my brain somewhere, but I can't seem to remember.
Well, we can go ask him.
This is a very interesting thing that's happening to me right now. I don't know that I should leave this room. Maybe go for a walk, but then return swiftly after. Don't you think?
You don't think you should leave the room?
No, not for long. Maybe walk the halls of this place
Oh,
a
well,
little.
I I wouldn't do that. There's a vampire here, named Strahd. He's kind of destroying the place a bit. If he sees you, he'll probably just attempt to eradicate you.
Oh, I know him. Yes,
You, you do?
dreadful creature. Yes, of course. We're, we're in Barovia, aren't we? Yes, that's his domain.
Yes, we are. A place called the Amber Temple.
Yes, the Amber Temple. That's where I am. You know, I knew there was somewhere in there a name for this place. Yes, I live in the Amber Temple. Right. Yes, dreadful creature, that vampire. Dreadful. Well, I suppose I best stay here then. Hmm?
But what if he ends up finding you?
Well, I couldn't find the door. I don't suppose he could either.
Well, I guess that's fair. Do you know how to seal it back?
Where is it? Oh, it's over
She
here.
point. Yeah, she points towards it.
And he kind of walks over. His frail, decrepit body, you can see the legs shaking underneath of his cloak every time he takes a step. He kind of leans down, but instead of leaning, he just kind of folds.
Oh, I see. Yes, I shall just poke this lever right here, and I'm sure it will go back up.
And he does so, and the door closes.
Interesting. Well, I guess if that's the case, yeah, you seem safe enough. I guess I can go back to Mordenkainen. I can't say that word for some reason, and I'll see if he knows anything about you.
Yes, of course. If you would know my name, I would be happy to give you this card.
And he kind of walks over to the next table, and he picks up a plain white playing card that looks pretty similar to what you've been looking for.
Does it look different to Tia? Because to Tia, it will look different.
As he kind of holds it up, there's a moment where it kind of flashes on the front, and there is a faint cat's paw that you see.
That's it. Her eyes light up and she says, "Yeah, I'll make sure to tell him. Just make sure you hold on to that."
Well, that's very kind of you, dear. Yes, I think I will.
I need to get out though. I need to hurry and go tell him. So she's gonna stand by the exit and try to leave.
Of course. Make sure you close the door on your way out. Wouldn't want
Right,
the
how do I
vampire
close
to
it?
come back. Oh, I'll close the door then.
Oh, okay, all right. So she'll leave the room and wait till the door closes.
Yeah, it takes... You leave the room, and it takes a good 30 seconds before you hear, "Oh!" And he walks over and flicks the thing again, and it closes again.
Okay, well, she still has the wand, so. Alright, well, she will walk out and then she'll just begin to leave the temple. She knows where the exit is.
Yeah, you manage to get out, no problem. As you get out, you are attempting to find your way back.
Yeah, she's going to leave through the snowy exit that looked like the front entrance.
Mm-hmm. So here's what I need you to do. In order to get your bearings on exactly where you are, go ahead and make a survival check.
Oh, what's something I have to make? 17.
17. You would wager you're on the south side of Barovia. And you know briefly about the mountain ranges. There is Mount Baratok, which is to the north. That's where you found Mordenkainen. The mountain to the south is slightly different. And from there, as you look out into the foggy night, you can just about make out the tip of a tower that you remember just north of an old, decrepit mansion. It'll take you some time to get there. You can start walking if you want.
Yep, she'll start walking.
Okay. So as you start walking through the night, that's where we're going to end our episode, Ginge.
Nice.
So, thanks everyone for coming out. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. This episode, by the way, will have major repercussions for the rest of the campaign. Well done, Ginji. You've done great. So,
I don't think I did.
So we'll be back here next week to continue this part of the story. Let's keep making stories together, and we'll catch you guys later. Toodaloo.